on cable channel 2. Big Jim Mitchell along with Bob Van Meter in the game between the Center Yellow Jackets and the Harrisonville Wildcats in this Class 4A District 7 first round playoffs and state championship. Bob, here we are again in the first round playoffs of another season. The Harrisonville Wildcats and the Center Yellow Jackets.
Well, that's just about says it all right there, Jim. As a matter of fact, the Wildcats meeting the Yellow Jackets for the second time this season, and similar circumstances to last year where the two teams met twice, and the second time being for the district playoffs, but a little bit different look for both teams this year.
You know, as it looks as far as these two teams go in the second game of the season, I think it's got to be said that Harrisonville is a much more developed, stronger team than they were whenever they met the Yellow Jackets in that second game. They've had some experience. They've gained some experience by playing some tough football games since that second game of the season, and I think it's up for a good contest here tonight between these two clubs.
Well, I think that second game of the year was definitely a character builder for this Wildcat team. They took the defeat in stride, continued to improve each week, and have done just exactly that. They have gotten better and better each week. And Center, you have to wonder how much better they could get. They looked just so good that second game of the season, and they have gone on to post a tremendous record this year. The only loss coming to a Rockhurst team here in Kansas City. And we know that the Wildcats are going to have their hands full because this is a very talented Center Yellow Jacket team.
For the Center Yellow Jackets, they come in with an overall record of 9-1. They won the Suburban Small 6 Conference at 5-0. For the Harrisonville Wildcats, an overall record of 8-1. They won the West Central Conference champs for the third straight year with a 4-0 conference record. Both teams, as we mentioned, have had one defeat for the season. Of course, the Wildcats losing to Center in the second game of the season by a score of 24-0. That game played back on September the 13th. For the Center Yellow Jackets, their loss came on October the 4th in a shutout against Rockhurst by a score of 21-0. Two great teams, as Coach Bob Smith of the Yellow Jackets said in the pregame. A sort of rivalry has really been set up the last couple of years against these two teams. We're set for the opening kickoff, and here with the action is Bob.
Roger Piper will kick it off to either McKelvey or Thompson, who are back deep in double safety for Center. The ball game is underway. The kick squigs off to the right side. Finally picked up by Thompson. He slips and goes down the left side now, and hit as he gets out across the 20-yard line. So we'll just see how much the field will come into play in the ball game tonight. Still kind of a light mist in the air, but nothing really that would hamper play. The field looks to be in good shape out there. Very few bare spots that would make slipping a little more difficult. Ball on about the 22-yard line of Center. Center up 1st and 10. They break out of the wishbone into a single back set with a double slot. Now motion comes to the near side. The option comes back to the man that slips as he gets to the 20. Brian Weethorn, the ball carrier, will lose, we'll say, about a yard, make it 2nd down 11. If anything, perhaps the slick field or any slickness on the field would be more detrimental to Center. Of course, Brian Weethorn there, everything running back, relying on speed and shifty moves. The Wildcats more of a straight ahead ground game team. 2nd down and 11 for Center from the wishbone. They go off right tackle, and the Wildcats close it down. Weethorn again in there, Lampy in on the stop, along with Davis and Piper.
The Yellow Jackets finished regular season play last Thursday night with a 41-0 shutout against the Belton Pirates. And in that game, the Yellow Jackets took control of the game immediately, scoring 28 points in the first quarter of play.
Mark Thompson, the quarterback. They shift back Now into a wide split. Thompson wants to throw, looking the left side, throws it out there, complete for Weethorn. He's shoestring down. Good defensive play on the far side by Jim Knox, as he makes the hit before Weethorn can get going. And that's going to bring up 4th down and about 7 yards to go for center and a punting situation. The Wildcats will drop Lampy and Casper back. And it will be number 7, Mark Thompson, who will kick for center. High snap. Thompson comes down with it, gets the kick away under a heavy rush. Casper snowed under as soon as he makes the catch. And as you can see, the footing is a little bit treacherous out there tonight, but the Wildcats will start out their first offensive series tonight from their own 41-yard line.
Harrisonville Wildcats finished regular season play Friday night, November the 1st, with a 21-0 win over Sadega Smith Cotton. Conference champs 4-0. Wildcats have made the playoffs 5 times in the last 6 years.
Lampy and Wellhoff split to either side of the field. From the split backfield, Kelly Donahoe calling the signals for the Wildcats. They give off the right side to Mike Eisel. Good hole as it crosses the 45. Out to the 46-yard line. And you know, Jim, as we discussed on the way up here tonight, it's going to be very important for the Wildcats to get the offense going and try and get on the board first tonight after being shut out 2 months ago. It'll be very important for them and for the momentum of the ball game to get on the board.
Certainly will be. You cannot look at the game of the second game of the season, and like you said, you need to get on the scoreboard. The Cats need to get on the scoreboard quick in this first quarter of play.
Single back set for the Cats, 2nd down 5. Kelly on the option, flips back to Piper. Good hole on the right side. Gets the first down plus more into center territory. And the Wildcat fans on the far side of the field have their handkerchiefs out. They're waving him, trying to urge their team on. The Wildcats just underway here. 8:40 left to play in the first period. The Wildcats with the first down of the ball game. The football spotted at the 46 of the Center Yellow Jackets.
When asked not about having the home field advantage in this first game, Coach Bob Barrett stated, "We will have fans to follow us," and you can see from across the field, that's just it, full of Wildcat fans.
Officials timeout. It's one of the center players losing a piece of equipment. They'll re-huddle them. Again, the football spotted at the 45.
The 2 top teams in Class 4A District 7. The Harrisonville Wildcats and the Center Yellow Jackets.
Again, the wide receivers are split to both sides of the field. The Cats set up in the I formation. Piper and Eisel, the running backs. They give straight ahead. Roger Piper bursts out across the 40-yard line. And they'll mark it just inside. Now they'll put him back outside the 40 to the 41, but a pickup of 5. And the Wildcats have to be just pleased as they can right now.
Last year, the Wildcats won 14-0 over the Yellow Jackets in their last regular season game, and then came right back in District 7 playoffs and beat Center 7-3 to advance in Class 4A playoffs.
Again, they work from the I, 2nd down 5. Kelly on the spin, flips back to Eisel. He's going to have to hurry. He hesitates too long and is rushed over. Mike Eisel a little hesitant about trying to turn the corner, and he paid the price. Loss of a yard, make it 3rd down now for the Wildcats and 7.
Just over 7 minutes left in the first quarter of play. There's no score.
The Wildcats send out 4 wide receivers. Kelly back in the shotgun. Center also spreads out their defensive backfield. Good snap back to Kelly. Surveys the field. They set up a middle screen. Piper with a lot of blockers out there. He's got the first down.
Beautiful.
Inside the 45 to the 33-yard line.
And that brings the Wildcat fans to their feet.
Good call from the sidelines that time as they set up the middle screen. The Wildcats had it spread out. And all the defensive backs for Center also spread out, and the Wildcats offensive line doing a heck of a job right now in the pits. And the Wildcats have it 1st and 10.
As we mentioned, the Wildcats, a more disciplined, more well-rounded team in this game here with center than the second game of the season.
Both wide receivers to the far side of the field from the split backfield. Inside trap play to Eisel. Picks up about a couple. They'll mark him down to the 30. Give him a short 2, make it 2nd down. And the one thing you might be a little surprised with so far, the Wildcats have only thrown the ball once in the drive so far. 6 minutes, 4 seconds left on the clock here in the first period. They've only thrown it once, and that being a screen pass. Now again, they have 4 receivers out. Kelly will roll this time. Fires it out quickly for Eisel. He's open down the left side, spins out of bounds inside the 20-yard line.
So with 5:51 remaining in the first quarter of play, the momentum definitely going to the Cats as they are moving the ball quite well against the Center Yellow Jackets.
Now is when the going gets tough. Inside the 20-yard line. We know Center has a tremendous defense. And it'll be a test of the Wildcats offense. Ron Litchfield checks into the ball game now for the Cats. He'll line up at the left slot. Lampy and Wellhoff again are split. Piper the lone setback. Center shifting their defense. Again, the inside trap goes to Litchfield, breaks 1 tackle. Gets back to the line of scrimmage and maybe half a yard, but a good second effort by Ron Litchfield to avoid getting tackled in the backfield.
Talking about the tough defense, looking at their stats for the season. In 10 games, they've had a total of only 43 points scored against that defense. An average of 4.3 points per game.
Again, the Cats in the single back set, 2nd down 9. Lampy in motion to the near side. Kelly drops, looks right, has got a man wide open. That's Martins over the right side, short of the 1st down. But a good connection from Kelly to Doug Martins. They'll be short of the 1st down by, about 1.5 yards. But it gets the football down to the 11-yard line.
Clock running with 4:53. That is stopped. 4 minutes, 53 seconds left in the first period of play. No score. The Wildcats are threatening.
Referee's timeout as they're trying to move the crowd from over on the far side of the field. Would imagine most of those are Harrisonville fans. We can't really tell from over here, but they were inching closer and closer to the sidelines. They're really trying to give the team all the moral support they can. 3rd down for the Cats, 3rd down and a long one. And this could be a big 1st down for the Wildcats if they can convert here.
Harrisonville Wildcats, West Central Conference champs for the 3rd straight year with 4-0 and an overall record of 8-1. The only loss to this team right here in the 2nd game of regular season play.
Martins in motion. They give the right side to Piper. He's going to be just short as they'll mark him down right at the 10-yard line. And that's going to bring up a big call now for the Wildcats. We'll see how they gave him the mark. They gave him a pretty good mark on the call, really. Looked like they had him right on the 10-yard line. They mark it just over, so they'll bring in the chains. They're going to be just short. And that is just short. So the 3rd down call now becomes a 4th down call.
With 4 minutes, 29 seconds left in the first quarter of play.
4th down and about a foot.
Big 4th quarter play right here.
Big enough call that the Wildcats are going to take a timeout and discuss it. So with no score in the ball game, 4:29 to play in the first quarter, we'll also take a break and be right back. Big fourth down call awaiting the Wildcats right now. I'd almost be willing to bet that 90% of the time or more, Jim, in this situation, we see the ball snapped right to Kelly Donahoe and he plows his way forward. And with only a foot to go, yes, maybe that's the safe way to do it. We'll see. I'm sure Senator has done their homework. They've got a lot of people bunched right up there in the middle.
Big play right here. Can the Cats keep the drive going?
Kelly tries the right side. Good second effort. I think he's got the first down.
Yes.
Kelly tried to go off right guard. And when he hit the line, it looked like he was stopped, but he kept the feet going. And the second effort pushed him across.
So with now 4:23 remaining in the first quarter of play, fresh set of downs, and the Wildcats drive continues.
First down and goal to go now for the Wildcats from the split backfield. Kelly on the option, pitches back to Piper. He's going to be hemmed in for a loss. And a flag. Roger Piper was hemmed in for a loss, but a lot of taunting going on after the play was made, and the referee flagged it. Personal foul against center, and that's going to give the Wildcats a walk-off and another first down, I would assume. The Wildcats last time not only were beaten physically, but the Yellow Jackets did quite a job on them emotionally also. And it looks like a new group of referees working this ball game are not going to have it. That'll move the football down to the 7-yard line, where it will be first down and goal to go for the Wildcats.
Boy, what a momentum it would be for the Cats to get sticks right here and get on the scoreboard first early in the game.
Keith Patrick checks into the ball game. He's at tight end. Doug Martins is lined up in a slot. He goes in motion now to the far side. Kelly on the roll, looking out there, tries to get it to Martins. It's incomplete. Martins in a little bit of a bumping match out there with Phelps Murdoch. And that's going to bring up second down now for the Cats. Well, they've got a third down. Third down and 7, as they didn't get the first down on the personal foul. Thought they had originally signaled that they did, but they did not. Now they have Doug Martins lined up as a tackle on the near side. Play action pass. Kelly looks there for Lampy. Incomplete. Beautiful defensive play by number 3, Mark McKelvey, as Kelly had Lampy spotted in the corner of the end zone and a flag thrown. It's going to be against the Wildcats and a holding call.
Three minutes, 42 seconds left in the first quarter of play. No score.
The penalty is declined. They're going to give the Wildcats a fourth down situation from the 7 as opposed to giving them a third down. And this is important enough that the Wildcats are going to spend another timeout and discuss what they want to do. So with 3:42 to go in the first quarter, the ball on the 7-yard line, the Wildcats take a timeout. We'll be back after this break. The Wildcats prepare for their fourth down try here. They have Roger Piper putting on his kicking shoe. And it would appear, mind you, that the Wildcats will attempt a field goal.
No score in this first playoff game in Class 4A District 7. The winner advancing on into the state playoffs.
If the Wildcats do indeed attempt this, it will be a 24-yarder. Roger Piper will kick from the left side. Good snap, placed down, booted up, and it is good. So the Wildcats kick their first field goal of the year, and they jump out on top by
in the first quarter of play. And as we get ready for more action on the field, once again, here's Bob.
Once again, Roger Piper will put it back into play for the Wildcats. Again, the kick off the right side. Hits and a loose scramble for the football. They're going to have to down it just outside the 20-yard line. So another break for the Wildcats. That football just kind of like a chip shot that time that Piper hit. The ground mushy enough down there that the ball just kind of hit and died. The Yellow Jackets then had to cover it up rather than try to advance it. So a very important factor in any big ball game, field position. And right now the Wildcats have had the best of it, although there's just 3:26 left to play in the first period. Center working out of the wishbone, gives to the first man through. Lampy makes the hit at about the 24-yard line.
For the Center Yellow Jackets, they're coming in at 9-1. Wins over O'Hara 14-3. Harrisonville 24-0. Hickman Mills 29-0. Fort Osage 14-3. Ruskin 26-2. Liberty 23-0. We'll look at more of their wins in just a moment.
Second down, 7. The pitch comes back to Weathorn. Good tackle. Jim Knox comes up. Makes the tackle on Brian Weathorn.
Other wins of the season for Center. A 40-14 win over Excelsior Springs. North Kansas City 48-0. And rounding out a win last Thursday night over Belton by a score of 41-0. Their only loss coming back on October the 4th to Rockhurst by a score of 21-0.
Third down and 5 for the Yellow Jackets. They give to Williams. Good hole straight up the middle. He's going to be off to the races. One man can catch him, and that's going to be Robert Casper. And that's the big play that the Wildcats have to guard against.
That's it.
As the football moved all the way down to the 26-yard line. That time the handoff really not a very clean exchange, but Travis Williams took it right up the tubes and there was nobody there. Finally, Robert Casper coming clear over from the corner had to run him down from behind. And now the momentum swings to the Center Yellow Jackets.
With 1:54 remaining in the first quarter of play.
Weathorn looks for a hole off the left side. He shoots down to the 20-yard line.
Center had 283 rushing yards against Belton last Thursday night.
Second down, 5 now for the Yellow Jackets. Thompson calls a signal. Play action pass goes for the end zone. For the Casper's out there. Touchdown. Pass to Clifford Manning in the corner of the end zone.
Right at the end of the first quarter of play also.
Casper looked up for the football and thought he had a chance at it. Manning came down with it, and for a minute it looked like he only had 1 foot down.
So with no time remaining in this first quarter of play, the setup and the try for the extra point. It's 6-3. The Yellow Jackets on top.
Clayton Allen on to try the extra point. It's up and it is good. So the first quarter comes to an end with the Center Yellow Jackets breaking on top of the Harrisonville Wildcats. We'll be back for the second quarter of action after this. Was the extra point good? I thought it was too. Okay.
Hey, why are they showing 2:57? What happened to the 12?
That's probably in there with the extra point somewhere. Yeah, they got it now. Well, now the downs are out. Looks like we got a break here.
Yeah, I think we got problems with
we'll
this.
pause it out.
Because it was showing 12.
Yeah, but then when we call down,
Problems with the clock.
Well, the scoreboard clock is a kilter. It shows 2:57 to play. There are no lights on at all on the first down to go part, and we'll see if they're going to continue with the field being the official time or not. Coach Barrett is standing out on the field, and they're downstairs talking to the center coaching staff. So we'll try and decide what's going on here. The referee, after conferring with Coach Smith on the near side, now goes over to talk with Coach Barrett.
Yeah, it seems to be running again. If they can just get a fresh set of 12 minutes on there, we're in business, hopefully. Good crowd on hand tonight, both for center and as we look across the way for the Harrisonville Wildcats. Of course, both bands are here tonight. Will be performing at halftime. And it looks like, Bob, we're going to go ahead with the game.
Well, I'll tell you what has happened, Jim, is we're still got 1:44 to play in the first period because we're still going the same direction. They're running, going to let the clock run down a little bit farther. But as you see, both teams have, they had originally switched positions, but now you can see they're in their original first quarter positions. So apparently the clock was kept running when it wasn't supposed to be. So they got it down to 1:34. Apparently that's where they want it. And we will
play the last few minutes of the first quarter again.
We'll have a minute and a half more than we thought we had. It'll be Clayton Allen to put the ball back into play for the Center Yellow Jackets. The Wildcats have Casper and Litchfield in the backfield. And a low kick that's going to be picked up and run with on the near side. The Wildcats get the football out across the 40 as Cass Evans picks up the football. Clayton Allen just took a dive after he hit the ball. A minute 29 shows on the first quarter clock now as the Wildcats have the football at their own 42-yard line.
The Harrisonville Wildcats, 8-1 overall, 4-0 West Central Conference champs for the third straight year.
Double tight end set now for the Wildcats. Two wide receivers flanked to either side. Piper the lone setback, and they give it to Piper off the left side. He gets it out to the 44-yard line. Number 59, Troy Jimerson, off the bottom of the pile for center. Second down, 7, make it 8 for the Wildcats. Pickup of 2. 1 minute left to play in the first quarter. The Wildcats on the short end of a 7-3 score. From the split backfield, they bring Lampe in motion to the near side. Kelly on the roll, has a good block, flips it out, incomplete. Pass was intended for Ron Litchfield. He had Terry Johnson right on his back. But Ron just didn't haul it in. It's going to bring up third down. Incompletion stops the clock with 44 seconds left to play in the first quarter.
Harrisonville Wildcats making the playoffs 5 times in the last 6 years under head coach Bob Barrett, now in his 11th season at Harrisonville, and has compiled an overall record to date of 91 wins, 19 losses, and 2 ties.
Again, the single back set for the Cats. Kelly dropping back, fires the right side. Pass is complete to Doug Martins. And the way they have him marked, it would appear he has the first down. That'll stop the clock with 35 seconds in the first quarter. And that was a great pitch and catch from Kelly to Doug Martins. Doug was double covered, but just had a step on the defenders. Made the diving catch. The Wildcats are still alive. They have the football at the 49-yard line of center. Much better offensive showing thus far, at least in the first quarter of the ball game, than the Wildcats' first offing. And off the right side, Roger Piper, loose football, picked up by center.
Boy, there is a tough break. Those kind of turnovers in this kind of a game can make or break you.
Well, it's tough, but it's one of those turnovers that happens on second effort, and it happens a lot of times to a ball carrier. He's straining to get that extra yardage, and Roger did a good job getting the extra yardage, but as he made that last squirm, as it were, the football popped up into the air, and the only person near it was the center yellow jacket. So they will have the football at their own 43-yard line, and they will watch the clock wind down. And it runs out here in the first quarter. So now we will take the break between the first and second quarter and be back after this. Seven to 3. The score right now as the center Yellow Jackets have the football. They give off to the fullback, number 23, Clayton Allen. He hits it out for about a yard gain. Make it second down 9.
Center Yellow Jackets clinched the home field advantage in the Missouri Class 4A District 7 playoffs last Thursday night with their 31-0 victory over the Belton Pirates in a Suburban Conference Small 6 game in Belton.
They pitch the ball out to the right side. And a lot of running room, and I don't believe anybody's going to catch. Oh, one good cut. And that cost him. Travis Williams was gone down the right side. He had to cut back.
Another big run.
As Casper was getting the angle on him, but we've got a flag down back about the 30-yard line. And it's going to be a clip called against the Yellow Jackets. So that a break for the Wildcats on what could have been a backbreaker.
You're watching Wildcat football on Cable Channel 2. Vic Jim Mitchell along with Bob Van Meter in a Studio 2 production. Class 4A District 7 playoffs. The winner of this game advancing on to playoff as they try to go to the Show Me Bowl in Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And the loser of tonight's game ends their 1985-86 season.
Well, the football is placed now at the 47-yard line. It is a first down for the Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets have their current field position via a Wildcat turnover on a fumble. Again, they work from the wishbone. Option the near side. The handoff goes to the fullback. Allen hits out across the 45-yard line. They'll mark him right on the 45. Second down now and 8. The Wildcats have Piper and Evans at down guards. Light and Pruitt at the tackles. Mike Wills is at one end, Jamie Davis at the other. Again from the wishbone, again the inside handoff to Allen, and this time it's Cass Evans who wraps him up. And again, this time they'll give him about a yard, make it third down and 7 now. The Wildcats have Martins and Atkinson at linebacker. Lampy, Casper, and Knox in the defensive backfield.
10 minutes left in the first half of play. Center Yellow Jackets 7, the Harrisonville Wildcats 3.
Mark Thompson brings them up to the line. From the wishbone, option the near side. Quarterback keeps it himself. Loose football. But center retains possession and has the first down. Thompson able to get the football back. Atkinson over there to wrap him up, but they just didn't have the quarterback sealed off on the option. The Wildcats had it strung out, but nobody took Thompson. So the Wildcats are going to spend their last time out of the half to discuss some things defensively. Coach Barrett very unhappy with his team at the moment. So with 9:33 left to play, we'll take a break and be right back. First down for the Center Yellow Jackets. They have the football at the 34-yard line of the Wildcats. From the wishbone, they pitch it back, and it's a loose football.
Could it be?
Still loose. And once again, Center comes away with it. Jamie Davis was back there for the Wildcats, and the football just kept squirting back, squirting back. Finally, Center covers it up, and it's all the way back to midfield.
Very fortunate 2 times in a row to recover a fumble like that.
Well, the Wildcats have one fumble and lost it. Center now fumbled twice, recovered both. You got to wonder how long that can last. Second and 25, inside handoff, and the Wildcats read it well. Cass Evans stayed home and did the job on Travis Williams. So that's going to bring up third down. Gain of about a yard, third down, 24. So a big third down for the Wildcats. And the Yellow Jackets. They option the near side. The pitch comes back. The Wildcats have it hemmed in. Jim Knox is there. As Travis Williams tried to turn the corner, Mike Wills was out there and turned him in. Knox came up from the secondary and made the hit, and it's going to bring up fourth down and 24.
Last 6-year school record for the Yellow Jackets, 38 wins, 23 losses. Last year they were 5-0 conference champs and finished with a 7-3 overall record.
We'll see if the Cats go after it. Lampy back in single safety. High snap, the kick's away. Line drive kick that Lampy fields at the 22 with a fair catch. And the Wildcats will take it over there. for their next offensive series. 7:32 left to play in the first half.
The Harrisonville Wildcats with an overall record of 8-1. Wins this year over Belton 33-6, Pleasant Hill 21-6, Nevada 33-0, O'Hara 14-13, St. Mary's 33-0, Ray-Pec 26-15, winning over Warrensburg 35-24, and the last regular season shutout victory over Sedalia Smith Cotton by a score of 21-0.
Wide split backfield. They bring Martins in motion. He's the lead blocker for Roger Piper. Good hole as he gets it out to the 30-yard line. And that may be Harrisonville's version of the Chicago Bears refrigerator play there, as Doug Martins runs out of the slot, put the block on the corner, and allowed Roger to pick up about 8 yards. Second down for the Cats. 7 minutes remaining here in the first half. The Cats on the short end of a 7-3 score. First round playoff, District 7. The Cats in the Yellow Jackets. They give the left side to Eisel. He's thrown down as he gets across the 30. And that's going to bring up third down, I believe, as they look down the row there. They say that it's going to be close enough to measure. So while they bring in the chains, we'll take a break and be right back. The Wildcats bring it out, 6:25. Oh, no. The Wildcats on first down with a short gain, no gain. Make it second down, 10. As the football is at the 33-yard line now. Second down, 10, 6:18 to play here in the first half. The Wildcats, a little confusion now in their offensive set. They have two wide receivers to the left side. Eisel split to the right, and they took too long. Delay of game is going to walk off 5 against the Wildcats. So that'll bring up second down, 15.
Halftime score in the second game of the regular season play. Center led by a score of 21-0. And with 6:18 remaining in the first half of play, they have a lead by a score of 7-3. Of course, Center going on to win that second game of the season by a score of 24-0, giving the Wildcats their only loss of the season.
Lampy goes in motion to the far side. Kelly on the straight drop, looks left, fires it out there, complete for Lampy, cuts it back into the middle, trying to find some running room, bounces off one man up near the 40-yard line, but he'll be down at the 38-yard line. So the Wildcats pick up a pretty good gain there on a nifty little piece of running by Bill Lampy. They tried to set up the screen. It looked like he was really going to be nailed for a loss. But it gives the Wildcats a third down 4 situation with 5:35 to play in the half. Kelly on the drop, under pressure. Gets away, looks, now tucks it up and is dropped for a loss out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. And thus far, the Wildcats have really elected not to throw the ball too much. They've done pretty well running the football, so they haven't had to throw. But last meeting of these two teams, Kelly took quite a beating when he tried to throw the football. The Wildcats will have to punt it away. Kelly steps up, pops a spiral, Williams, loose football. The Wildcats have got it.
There it is. There's the turnover the Cats have been needing. As you mentioned, Bob, you cough it up twice. You wonder how many more times it can happen before the Cats can capitalize on it, and they did it right there.
Center tried a little reverse exchange back there, but the Cats were right up on top of it. And Cass Evans, it looked like the man that fell on the football. Give the Wildcats new life as they have the football at the 27-yard line of the Center Yellow Jackets.
Just over 5 minutes left in the first half of play.
They give the right side to Piper. Good hold down inside the 20-yard line. The offensive line for the Wildcats doing a good job this far early in the ball game.
Looking at the overall standings of the West Central Conference League as of November the 7th, Harrisonville on top with an overall record of 8-1, followed by O'Hara 7-2. We'll look at others in just a moment.
Kelly barking out the signals. Again, they give to Piper. Again, a good hole inside the 15. They finally hog tie him down inside the 15-yard line. Another tough run by Roger Piper. And the Wildcats have a first down.
In other West Central Conference standings, as of November the 7th, after Harrisonville and O'Hara, comes Warrensburg with a 3-6, and Raymore Peculiar 4-5 overall, and St. Mary's finishing 0-9 for the season.
First down for the Cats from the 14. Kelly gives the right side to Litchfield. Not much going there. He had to lower his head. Gets maybe a yard down to the 13. Harrisonville offensive line right now has Piper in there, along with Evans, Light, Knox, Brock. Three wide receivers out for the Cats. Single back set with Piper. Kelly rolls left, pumps once now, fires it out there, and it's going to be incomplete. And a flag thrown on the far side. We'll see if it was a pass interference call. Bill Lampe was trying to make a break to the inside where Kelly threw the football, and there was too many bodies out there for him to make his cut. And it's going to be a defensive pass interference call against Center.
In that game with Belton last Thursday night, Center was penalized 8 times in the game for a total of 80 yards. .327 remaining in the first half. The Wildcats trailing by a score of 7-3. The Cats got on the scoreboard first with the field goal, and very quickly the Center Yellow Jackets fought back, got on the scoreboard, and lead by a score of 7-3.
First and goal from the 7-yard line. The Wildcats overshift the right side. Kelly rolling left, keeps it himself. A flag thrown into the line. Looks like it's probably going to be a holding call against the Wildcats. And that's exactly what it is. And boy, that is a drive killer.
Certainly is.
That'll move the football back after Center takes the penalty.
You know, there's an interesting story, Bob, that comes out of these two teams and the coaching staff. Whenever Harrisonville was playing O'Hara, head coach Bob Smith of the Center Yellow Jackets was at that game. He watched the game. Of course, Kelly played a good game that afternoon, and it so happened that head coach Bob Smith won the game ball that was given away. After the game, he went down and presented it personally to Kelly and said, "One heck of a game." sort of an interesting sideline with these two teams here tonight.
3 wide receivers out. They pitch to Piper on the left side. He's got a good blocker out there. Breaks away, touchdown!
Woo! Yes. Beautiful. So with 3:13 left in the first half of play, the crowd on the opposite side of the field, the Wildcat fans, come alive.
Hey, that 3 wide receiver formation works sometimes, boy. Good call, Coach. Good second effort by Roger Piper to get that ball in the end zone.
9-7's our score. The setup try for the extra point.
Hammond kicks it up, and it's good. The Wildcats now on top. 3:13 left to play in the first half by a score of 10-7. We'll be back right after this. Tinker Hammonds will put it back into play for the Cats. Into ring kick that's loose again. And center's going to have to down it where they field it. And that's going to be about the 17-yard line. So for some reason thus far in the ball game, center is having a little bit of problem holding on to the football. And the field position and the momentum right now in Harrisonville's favor. 3:10 left to play in the first half.
They lead it by a score of 10-7.
They break out of the wishbone. Now Williams goes in motion. They give straight ahead to Clayton, and he goes not very far. As Martins ducked in for the Wildcats and made the stop. They'll mark the football out over the 20. So they'll give him about 2 yards, make it 2nd down 8 now for the Yellow Jackets.
The Yellow Jackets 9-1 overall, coming into the District 7 Class 4A playoff game this evening. They won the Suburban Small 6 Conference 5-0.
Again, they break out of the wishbone, go into basically a T offense. They run a little cross buck. And a good defensive play again by the Wildcats. Cass Evans coming in after Jared Light stands him up. In the gain out to the 25-yard line. So that's going to bring up 3rd down. 3rd down and about 3. We have a officials timeout here as if the player's injured or just trying to get some tape off so he can get his shoe back on. 1:47 left on the clock. The bands prepare for the halftime show. Of course, in district playoff action, both bands go and perform at halftime, so we will get to see the Harrisonville Royal Regiment perform at an away game. And now the referee winds the clock back up. It's running now inside a minute 35 in the first half. The Wildcats have a 10-7 lead. Again, they break out of the wishbone. Thompson wants to throw, looking deep. He's got it out there a long way. Lampy's there, incomplete. And that hit the receiver right in the helmet.
Man,
I mean, right in the helmet. The pass was intended for Clifford Manning. He looked up. The ball came down. And if he'd had just a little more room there between his face guard and his helmet, the ball would have stuck right in it. Wildcats catch a big break.
stops the clock with 1:22 remaining in the first half. The Cats now with a 10-7 break. And there's been a timeout on the field.
Well, they originally signaled timeout. Now let's see. Coach started out on the field and they stopped him. What's it going to be, Mr. Referee? Center signaled for a timeout, but they've gotten enough time now in the lull. They probably have set up whatever they want to, so that was...
We'll take it.
Save them calling a timeout. 1:22 left to play in the first half. Center facing a 4th down and 4 situation from their own 24-yard line. Make the 25. And now the officials again call an official's timeout. And the Wildcat players conferring. I don't know why there is so much confusion on the field right now. One of the center players did walk up and request a timeout. The Wildcats do not have any timeouts. They've called all 3 of theirs. And now I guess we'll try it again. Wildcats have Lampy and Casper back about their own 45. Mark Thompson back in punt formation, takes a look, gets the kick away. Low kick to Lampy, fields at midfield, circles back. Now he's going to have to circle back a lot more. A flag thrown as it looks like there was a clip back at midfield. So we'll have to wait for this to unravel. This has really drawn out the last minute and a half of the ball game.
Is. Cats on top by a score of 10-7. They got on the clock first, or on the scoreboard first, with a field goal, 3-0. Center came back, 7-3. And now with a minute 12 remaining in the first half, it's 10-7. With Harrisonville with a 3-point lead.
The clipping call will move the football back to the Wildcat 30-yard line. Just about a minute to play here in the first half. The Wildcats have 3 wide receivers out. Kelly gives on the draw to Piper, breaks a tackle. Has some running room off the left side, finally pulled down. At about the 37-yard line. And again, good second effort by Piper. As he picks up 8, make it 2nd down and 2 now for the Cats.
Wildcats finished out their regular season play Friday night, November the 1st, with a 21-0 win over Sadega Smith Cotton.
Again, the Cats with a single back set. This time Kelly wants to throw, pumps once, fires the middle, intercepted. Now he stepped out of bounds way back up here, and I don't think the referee even caught it. That was Darren Shepard intercepting. Kelly threw back into traffic. There's 5 seconds left on the clock here in the half, so the Wildcats are going to have to really be careful not to give up the long one here. Although it wouldn't be too awfully long. The ball spotted at the 23-yard line. The center Yellow Jackets are going to attempt a field goal. It would be a 40-yard attempt, if indeed they do attempt it. Clayton Allen will try it, 40 yards out.
Field goal here.
And there is a flag. It was a bad snap. The attempt was no good, but it's going to be on the Wildcats, so they're going to give them an extra 5 and give them another chance at it.
Ooh. So with 3 seconds left in the first half, the center Yellow Jackets will get another chance at making it a tie ball game going in at halftime.
Boy, that hurts because that was a bad snap. The kick wouldn't have gotten there. And now they're going to give Clayton Allen another chance at it. 5 yards closer. So that a costly penalty. And they want to put 2 seconds back on the clock. And they're going to have to wait for it to run down from a minute.
A long first half.
Well, a long minute and a half. It was. We thought this was going to be over a long time ago.
The winner of this game here tonight will go on in the state playoffs. They will play the winner of the Lincoln Academy and St. Joe Lafayette game. Lincoln Academy 7-3 for the season. St. Joe Lafayette 6-2. Of course, it was St. Joe Lafayette the Wildcats went on to play and win last year in playoff action.
Guess this year District 7 will host the ball game, so whether it be Harrisonville or Center, it will be played in this district. Now we've got 5 seconds on the clock, and Allen will attempt a 35-yarder. Little better snap, placed down, booted up, and I don't believe it's going to make it. It's wide to the right and short. So time expires in the first half of play. The teams retire to their respective locker rooms. But a bit of a surprise and a bit of a turnaround as the Harrisonville Wildcats lead the Center Yellow Jackets by a score of 10-7.
Bob was just going to say, as you mentioned, quite a turnaround as we think back to that second game of the season, whenever we went in at halftime with Center leading by a score of 21-0.
We'll be back for the halftime show. Welcome back. We're just about ready to start the second half of action here in the first round of the district playoffs. Harrisonville Wildcats and the Center Yellow Jackets. And Jim, I don't think the Wildcats maybe are surprised, but I bet there's a lot of surprised people in the stands right now at the score of the ball game.
I bet you're right on that, Bob, with the Wildcats out on top in this first half of play. Let's take a look at some of the first half stats out of that first half in rushing. Pretty close. Harrisonville 70 yards, Center 68 yards. In the passing department, Harrisonville had 9 attempts, 5 completions for 58 yards. Center had 3 attempts, 2 completions for 22 yards. Total yardage in the first half of play, Harrisonville 128 and Center 90. Harrisonville with 9 first downs, Center with 3. Penalties, Harrisonville 4 for 35, Center 3 for 29. Big Jim Mitchell along with Bob Van Meter, Cable Channel 2. We're set for the second half of play. And once again, here's Bob.
The Wildcats will receive to start the second half of action. Allen will kick it off for Center. And the Wildcats will have Litchfield and Casper back deep. Allen gets it into the air, and it will come to Litchfield at the 15-yard line. Eludes one man, but slips down across the 25 and will be down at the 27. That's where the Wildcats will take over. And you know, Jim, after hearing those statistics, you tip your hat to the Harrisonville defense right now, because they have done the job thus far against the powerful Center offense. And really the brunt of that rushing came on one play when the fullback took it right up the middle.
You know, talking about looking at halftime statistics in that second game of the season, we'll take a look at that in just a moment.
Martins goes in motion. It draws one of the Center players, Johnson, off sides. So that will give the Wildcats a cheap 5 yards. Puts the ball at the 33-yard line, make it first down 5. Just underway here in the second half of action in this playoff game between the Harrisonville Wildcats and the Center Yellow Jackets. The winner to advance. The loser goes home. Handoff to Piper off the right side. He's shoestring down. From behind, Travis Williams got a hand on Piper. Just enough to cause him to go down. It will bring up second down now for the Wildcats. We have an official's timeout on the field as there's some equipment repair for the Yellow Jackets. 11:19 to play in the third quarter. The Wildcats up by 3, 10-7. Second down 5. That play went for no gain. 2 wide receivers to the near side for the Cats. Kelly rolls, flips it out. One-handed catch made by Litchfield, and he's drugged down. Over on the far sideline. And a first down for the Cats.
Talking about a difference in that first game with Center. First half stats in the rushing yardage. Harrisonville only 5 yards in the first half of play, up against 70 in this game. 198 yards for Center in that first game, and 68 yards in this game here tonight.
They give straight ahead. Piper with the carry across the 40-yard line out to about the 42. Pickup of 3 for the Cats. Make it second down 7 now. The Cats split 4 wide receivers out. Piper the lone setback. And movement. Looked like the interior of the Cats line jumped after the center line jumped. And they're going to walk off 5 against the Wildcats.
Wildcats making the playoffs 5 times in the last 6 years.
You hear the center band leaving the field. Again, the Cats split 4 wideouts. And they hand the football off straight ahead. Roger Piper, short gain, as he gets it out to about the 38-yard line. So that's going to bring up a third down situation for the Cats. Third down and about 10. 9:45 left to play in the third quarter. Wellhoff splits to the far side. Lampy flanks to the left. Eisel in the slot to the near side. Center has everybody coming. Kelly gets it out there for Eisel. Overthrows it. And probably a good idea on Kelly's part, as there was a lot of coverage and a heavy rush on. So it's going to bring up fourth down for the Cats. They'll have to punt the football away. Into a bit of a breeze blowing into the Wildcats' face right now.
9:31 left in the third quarter. The Cats up by 3. The score 10-7.
Good snap. Kelly steps up and pops it. Spinning kick kind of off the side of his foot. And it takes a center bounce. So the Yellow Jackets are going to get good field possession on the exchange, as they'll mark it all the way out to the 47-yard line. And the Wildcats really can ill afford to give the powerful center offense that good a field position.
Center 9-1.
Thompson brings him up from the wishbone. He options the near side, pitches back to Weathorn. Weathorn lowers his head into Casper, brings the football out near midfield. They'll mark him just short. They'll put it at the 49. Gain of 3, make it second down 7 for the Yellow Jackets.
Center gained the #1 ranking in the state when Camdenton, last week top-ranked team, lost to Webb City, and Camdenton dropped to number 9.
Whistle blew that play dead as the Wildcats had wrapped up number 23, Clayton Allen, as he got the give from fullback. Piper in Cass Evans combining on the stop. Give him about a yard, make it 3rd down now and 6. And center, it appears, still trying to get that basic running game going. Set it up so they can break the big one. In the option to the near side. And Piper putting the stops on Mark Thompson, as the Wildcats had the option read pretty well that time. Good penetration by the Wildcat defense. Moves the football into Wildcat territory at the 46-yard line. A 4th down situation, 4th down and a very long one. We'll see if the Cats go after it here or play it safe. Lampy back in single safety as Thompson will lose the handle on the football. He's going to have to run with it, and he's got a lot of running room. Cass Evans can't get him. He's got the 1st down. And that is the kind of fluke play that can really hurt you.
Certainly is.
Mark Thompson took his eye off the snap, fumbled it. The Wildcats did not have a heavy rush on him. They were kind of playing back, but Thompson had all kinds of running room out to the left. Cass tried to run him down and make a diving tackle, but he managed to elude it. Picks up the yardage for the 1st down, and now, pardon me, the Yellow Jackets have a fresh set of downs in the football at the Wildcat 36. They give it to Weethorn off the left side. Short pickup. Excuse me, that was not Weethorn, that was Travis Williams carrying the football. Haven't seen a lot of Brian Weethorn carrying the football thus far tonight. Slick field really not to his advantage. Pickup of 6, 2nd down 4. Again from the wishbone. They give to Williams, breaks a couple of tackles, but Roger Piper bulldogs him down as they'll mark it out to the 26. That'll be very close to a 1st down. And it'll be close enough they want to bring in the chains.
Again, in the 1st downs in the 1st half, Harrisonville had 9, Center 3.
It is a 1st down by a little more than the length of the football. So Center's offensive drive will continue.
Center's only loss for the season, coming back on October the 4th in regular season play to Rockhurst by a score of 21-0.
Thompson wants to throw, looks the middle, incomplete. Pass was intended for Tom Hedges. He was on a slant across the middle, but the pass was out just a little too far as Thompson tried to lead him. And that's going to bring up 2nd down. And we may see Center throwing the football a little more. They've had some success throwing the football tonight. Had some people open. Again, they work from the wishbone. They give off the right side. The Center hurdling the right side. Brian Weethorn brings the football down inside the 20-yard line to the 18. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 4 for Center.
In the 1st half, Center had 3 attempts in passing, 2 completions for 22 yards.
From the wishbone off the right side, Bill Lampy comes up. But it's going to be enough for the 1st down. That will spot the football at the 14-yard line, just inside the 15. Center with the 1st down. They're knocking on the door with 5:30 left to play in the first part of the third quarter here. 10-7 our score, but Center again threatening. Little counter option. They pitch the right side. Good block out there, but a good recovery. Jamie Davis had a block laid on him, but he spun off of it and was able to make the tackle. Travis Williams, the ball carrier, pickup of about 3, make it 2nd down 7. Football spotted at the 12 now. Thompson wants to throw, looks the end zone, fires it out of the back of the end zone. Incomplete. Couldn't even really tell who that was for. He really strong-armed that one out the back door of the end zone. That'll stop the clock with 5:15 and bring up 3rd down. And still about 7. Football spotted outside the 10 at the 11-yard line.
No scoring so far in the third quarter of play. Score remains the Wildcats 10, Center 7.
Big 3rd down. They break the bone. Thompson wants to throw, looks left, under pressure, has it out there. It hits one of the offensive linemen. The pass was intended for Brian Weathorn, but it hit one of the offensive tackles, number 73, Pat Smith. He ducked, went right off the top of his head. He, of course, not an eligible receiver. So that's going to bring up 4th down. Still 7 yards to go. And Center will go for it here and try and pick up the 1st down. They have to go inside the 5-yard line. Big stand for the Cats. They pitch the right side. And
he's
touchdown.
Going in. So the hole opens up. And with 5:04 remaining in the third quarter of play, the Center Yellow Jackets jump out to a 13-10 lead over the Harrisonville Wildcats.
Well, that play just almost developed in slow motion. Williams ducked inside, then outside, just kind of tippy-toed down the sideline, and nobody ever got to him. Clayton Allen on to try the extra point. High snap, still gets it up, and it's no good. So perhaps a bit of a break there for the Wildcats as Center goes on top by 3 now by a score of 13-10. We'll be back after this timeout. Center preparing to kick off. Clayton Allen will put his foot into it. High end over end kick. Litchfield will take at his own 7. Tries to circle to the left side and slips down. So the Wildcats are going to have about 81 yards they're going to have to traverse in order to get into the end zone. 5 minutes and 1 second to play in the third quarter. In the first round of the Missouri State High School Athletic Association playoffs, the Wildcats, 3 wide receivers out. Piper the lone setback. Piper gets the call off right tackle, breaks one man away from a second, gets loose on the right side. Finally pulled down as it gets across the 35-yard line out to about the 37. Tremendous second effort by Roger Piper. And it finally took Keith Lawless, defensive back, to get him down, and Roger not getting up. And it looks like, hopefully, it's just a cramp. They're out there working on him right now on the calf and on the back of the leg, where you hope, anyway, the Wildcats could ill afford to lose Roger Piper at this point in the ball game. They're out there working on the leg, and with it up in the air like that, you just would assume that it's a cramp. They'll help him up off the field now. The play can resume. Roger trotting off. He's played a whale of a ball game tonight. 4:36 in the third quarter. The Cats down by 3, 13-10. But Piper's giving them a little spark here as they've got the football at their own 37-yard line from the split backfield. They give the right side and no go. As Mike Eisel ran into a wall over there. They'll give him half a yard on the play, but we'll still call it 2nd down 10.
4 minutes left in the third period of play. The Cats down by 3, 13-10.
Again, 3 wide receivers out for the Cats. Center has a lot of people up there. Litchfield goes in motion to the far side. Kelly on the option, flips back to Eisel. He stops, cuts back to the inside, and thrown down at the 39. And there's just no way you can run out there and stop. Gain of maybe a yard, make it 3rd down and 9. And Kelly's going to call a timeout here with 3:13 to play in the third quarter. The Cats down by 3. We'll be back after this timeout.
.313 remaining in the third quarter of play. The Cats trail by 3, 13-10. Big Jim Mitchell along with Bob Van Meter in the Class 4A District 7 playoffs on cable channel 2.
Kelly's sitting back in the shotgun now with 2 backs in front of him. Flips it ahead to Litchfield, and Ron goes absolutely nowhere.
Ooh.
Boy, that play just didn't work.
From the word go.
Whether center had that diagnosed ahead of time or what, or whether it just wasn't run correctly, I don't know. But the Wildcats will have to punt the football into the wind once again. Kelly pulls down the snap, gets away a low kick, fielded inside the 40 at the 39, and once again center's going to have pretty good field position.
Center in the Suburban Small 6 Conference. They won their conference at 5-0 in conference play, 9-1 overall. Others in the Suburban Small 6, Excelsior Springs finishing 6-3, Liberty 4-5, Ruskin 4-5, North Kansas City 1-8, and Belton 3-6.
Weathorn off the right side with a big hole. Loses his balance, but not before he picks up about 9 yards. And once again, the Wildcats have got a player down with a cramp. Looks like Bill Lampy. So while they're out there attending to him, we'll take a quick break and be right back. How many times do you know? Play for the Center Yellow Jackets. Went for a short gain off the right side. We're running down now inside 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Was enough for a first down.
Center is still on top by 3, 13-10. Harrisonville led at half by a score of 10-7.
First down for the Yellow Jackets inside Wildcat territory. They give to the fullback straight ahead, Adams down to the 45-yard line. Excuse me, Allen. Clayton Allen carrying the mail down inside the 45. Pickup of 3, make it 2nd down 7. Ken Thompson pitches the near side. Travis Williams with a dive for some extra yardage. He gets it down inside the 40.
The Yellow Jackets coming into tonight's game offensively, putting 259 points on the scoreboard. An average of approximately 26 points per game.
3rd down for the Yellow Jackets. 3rd down and about 2. Cats need to hold here. Give it to Weethorn. Pixies hold. Good defensive effort by Lampy. Bill Lampy knifed in there and dropped Weethorn back on the 40. So that's going to bring up 4th down. And still about 2. And now a big call for center.
Under a minute of play left here in the 3rd quarter of play.
Center brings it up 4th and 2. They give the left side to Williams. He breaks it. Jamie Davis holds on for dear life, and that's all that kept Travis Williams from taking it home. As he brings the football all the way down inside the 35-yard line down to the 23, we'll say.
So with 30 seconds showing on the clock, it left in the 3rd quarter of play, the Harrisonville Wildcats are calling timeout. With that, we'll take a break and be back in just a moment.
First down for the Yellow Jackets. The option comes back to Weethorn. Lampy the only man out there. Now Casper comes across, makes the stop. But the carry goes down all the way to the 7-yard line.
And with 21 seconds left in this 3rd quarter of play, the Center Yellow Jackets controlling the momentum and threatening to score. They lead by a score of 13-10.
They give to Williams straight ahead. Dives over the line. Jared Light there to wrap him up. But the gain goes down inside the 5-yard line to the 4. 2nd down, goal to go from the 4-yard line for the Yellow Jackets. And that's going to do it for the 3rd quarter. So with the Yellow Jackets in the lead, 13-10, and 3 yards away from the goal line, we'll be back for the final quarter of action in district playoff competition after this. Second down and goal to go. That's what the Center Yellow Jackets face right now. They're knocking on the Wildcats' door, and they're in.
6 points.
Travis Williams knifes through the Wildcats' defense.
So after leading at halftime, the Harrisonville Wildcats find themselves trailing in this playoff game by a score of 19-10 as we're just underway in the 4th and final quarter of play. Big Jim Mitchell along with Bob Van Meter bringing you all the action here on Cable Channel 2, a Studio 2 production.
Allen Alden to attempt the extra point, and they're going to fake it. Thompson wants to throw, looks into the end zone, incomplete.
Well, Bob, you know, the Cats right now are in a position where they're going to have to really get a hold in this game because they are down 19-10 with only 11:57 remaining in this game. You can be down by a few points to a team, especially the Center Yellow Jackets, but whenever you start getting a couple of touchdowns away to win the ball game, it's pretty hard to play catch-up football in the last few minutes of the game. So the Harrisonville Wildcats have got their work cut out for them in the final minutes as we tick down the clock. 11:57 remaining in the game.
Well, it's not an insurmountable lead if the Wildcats can just play as well as they did in that first half, but they've got to get the offense back on track. And the defense is going to have to shut out center the rest of the way too, and that's no easy task at all. And they're going to have to catch some breaks. The Wildcats running the football back.
.53 remaining in the football game. The Center Yellow Jackets under head coach Bob Smith. Coach Smith in his 30th year of coaching the Harrisonville Wildcats, 9-1 under head coach Bob Barrett, now in his 11th season at Harrisonville, and has compiled an overall record to date of 91 wins, 19 losses, and 2 ties.
Well, it looks as if one of the Center Yellow Jackets, Stevenson, has been ejected from the ball game. We've got a flag down in the middle of the field. Unsportsmanlike conduct is the call. Play occurring on the return. And Stevenson apparently has been ejected from the ball game. So that will give the Wildcats the football at the 44-yard line. And perhaps a little renewed life here. They need to get another touchdown on the board to get back in the ball game. 3 wide receivers out. Kelly on the roll. Under pressure, fires it out there for Lampe. Great catch.
Beautiful.
Fantastic catch by Bill Lampe on the near side. He had good coverage.
That's what we need.
But he came back for the football, concentrated on it, and made the catch inside the 35-yard line at the 34.
With some plays like that, the Cats are going to be back in the game. 11:39 remaining. They trail 19-10 to the Center Yellow Jackets.
The Cats stack their 3 wide receivers to the far side. Lampe is split alone here to the right. Piper, the single running back, he gets the call straight ahead. It goes nowhere. No gain on the play. That's going to bring up 2nd down. Still 10 for the Wildcats. 11:05 left to play in the ball game. The winner of this game will meet the winner of the St. Joe Lafayette Lincoln Academy ball game. Kelly under a lot of pressure. He's going to be sacked. Somebody missed an assignment on the interior line as Clayton Allen was right on the back of Kelly as soon as he pulled out from under center. Loss of 5. It's going to bring up 3rd and 15 as the football back to the 40-yard line.
In that game with Lincoln Academy and St. Joe Lafayette being played tonight, Lincoln Academy coming in with a 7-3 record. St. Joe Lafayette 6-2.
They bring Litchfield in motion to the near side. Kelly drops straight back. Looks like they want to set up the screen. Guns it to Piper. Piper with some blocks out in front of him. He's got the first down, it looks like. No, they're going to mark him just short. Boy, what a crummy mark. Well, first the referee signaled first down. Now let's see where they're putting the football. Now they move it clear back. Oh. Well, it's going to bring up 4th down for the Wildcats. 4th down and 1. So the Cats picked up a good gain on it, but didn't get much help on the mark. Now once again, they try and clear the sidelines off.
9:58 remaining in the game. 19-10 is our score. Center Yellow Jackets on top of the Harrisonville Wildcats. In the 36 first-round games of the Missouri High School football playoffs, only one matchup meets unbeaten teams. St. Joe Center playing at Lee Summit. Those teams are the only undefeated teams going into the state playoffs.
Could be one of the most important plays of the ball game right here. 4th down and short. Litchfield in motion. They give to Piper. He dives it across the 25. And it's just going to depend on where they give him the mark. They'll bring in the sticks from the far side.
Very important call.
First down, Wildcats. About the length of the football. 9:39 left to play in the ball game. The Cats with a fresh set of downs from the 24 of the Yellow Jackets.
Center defeated Harrisonville 24-0 in the second week of the regular season play. This is the 4th meeting in the last 2 seasons. Harrisonville winning twice last season, 14-0 and 7-3.
Martin's in motion now to the near side. Kelly on the roll, pumps once, steps up. Now he's going to have to eat the football.
Well, you know, Bob, now I think we're seeing a little bit of what we saw in that first game with Center this year, as Kelly was being rushed and not able to complete some of the passes that he normally can get off. And it seems like that is basically what is happening in these last few plays of the Wildcats drive.
4 wide receivers out now for the Cats. Blitz is on. They set up the middle screen. Incomplete. Phelps Murdoch right in the middle of everything had it read, and he almost came away with the football. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and 15. You know, Jim, you're right. There to a point, the Wildcats are having a problem now throwing the football, but the maturity of the team and the fact that Kelly is not throwing into coverage at this point in the ball game, to throw an interception would be utterly disastrous. It's a lot better to take the loss, have another down, and try and do something with it. And they're going to try and do it with their 3 wide receivers stacked to the near side. Piper, the lone setback. Heisel in motion. Kelly looking left. Going out there for Lampy. It's up in the air. Loose, incomplete.
Almost intercepted.
Now that time I think Kelly had his mind made up he was going to go to Lampy. Bill was double covered. So it's going to bring up 4th down. 4th down and about 14. And the Wildcats have got to go. There's no tomorrow. 8:24 left in the ball game. For one team, it's the start of a new season. For the other team, it's the end of this season. From the shotgun. Kelly has some time, looks the middle, incomplete.
Oh.
In and out of the hands of Mike Heisel. He would have been short of the 1st down.
So continuing in this game, the Wildcats having trouble putting it together in this second half of play. Whenever they played such a good rounded first half and led at the half, by a score of 10-7.
Center back on offense now from their own 29. They give it to Travis Williams. He's across the 30 to about the 32. Piper and Evans combine on the stop. Pickup of about 2, make it 2nd down 8. Weethorn with the carry, shakes loose 2 tacklers. Finally dropped by Jamie Davis across the 35. They'll spot him all the way out to the 39. And that's going to be very close to a 1st down.
Clock showing 7 minutes, 36 seconds left in the game. The score, the Center Yellow Jackets 19, the Harrisonville Wildcats 10.
They'll bring on the chain, stretch it out, and it will be short by about less than half the length of the football.
Winner of this game plays in quarterfinal action Monday night, November the 18th at 7:30 p.m. Semifinals scheduled for Saturday, November the 23rd at 1:30 kickoff time. And of course, the winner of that one going to the Show Me Bowl Saturday, November the 30th at Busch Stadium.
They give the right side, and the Wildcats stack it up. Jim Knox shooting in from cornerback. Got in there and tripped up the ball carrier in the backfield. Lose about a yard. So it's going to bring up 4th down and 1. Now a decision for Coach Smith. Will he punt the football away and try to hold the Wildcats defensively? Or will he go for it? Well, he's going to call timeout to think it over. He's running out of time right now. So with 6:57 left to play in the ball game, we'll be right back. Center on 4th down will go for it. They give the left side, and the Wildcats may have stopped it up. The Cats dove in there and jammed it all up. But it's going to depend on how they give them the mark. The Wildcats unpile here. They're going to bring in the chains. They had to hold the football down while everybody got up. But this is going to be within a hair's breadth.
Oh boy.
Cats have held.
So maybe that'll be the spark.
Well, let's see if the momentum will go over to the offense now.
Certainly hope so. 6:54 remaining in the game. Center 19. The Wildcats 10. Momentum certainly in this second half been mostly to the Yellow Jackets.
6:54 to play in the ball game. The Wildcats split 4 wide receivers. They have Piper as the lone setback. Kelly on the play action with a busted play. He's going to run it himself, looking for some room. Kind of a head tackle there. Nothing called, but Kelly gets it back to the line of scrimmage. They'll mark it about the 38-yard line. Maybe give him half a yard, make it still 2nd down 10. The Cats' passing attack thus far has just been non-existent.
Certainly has been.
Again, the single back set. Kelly under some pressure. Fires off his back foot, incomplete. Was trying to get it out to Lampy. The bill was well covered. Kelly took a pretty good shot.
Wildcats led at halftime by a score of 10-7. but they have not put it between the scoring posts since then. They trail by a score of 19-10.
Kelly really holding his right elbow. It looked like he really wanted to come off the field, but there's nowhere to go here. This is the final quarter of the district championship game. 6:06 to play. They get the play off. Kelly on the drop under pressure. Let's go. It's incomplete. Kelly was being blitzed hard, and he just had to dump it into the middle. It was in the vicinity of Roger Piper, but Roger was on a streak down the middle of the field. Didn't even see it.
Much of the same thing we remember from the first time these two teams met in the second game of this regular season play. The Wildcats with a timeout, 6:01 remaining. They're down 19-10. We'll take a break, be back in just a moment.
Well, this is it. The final 6:01 left here in the fourth quarter. The Wildcats are facing a fourth down situation. Kelly on the roll. He's got a lot of room to run if he'll go with it. Got one man out there, gets by from him down the left sideline inside the 20 and out of bounds, just outside this 15-yard line, down to the 17.
That's what it's going to take. A break and a good run with 5:53 remaining in the game.
That just kind of a naked bootleg out to the left, and you could see it open up. There was just nobody out there. And Kelly really didn't have any choice but to tuck it and go. Put a good move on the last man out there in order to pick up the first down, so the Cats still have some life.
They're down by 9, 19-10.
From the 18, they give to Piper. He's stacked up as he gets to the line of scrimmage. And the holes that were there in the first half are not there now.
Certainly a different ball game for sure.
Again, the Cats go to the four wideouts. Kelly pumps once, fires the right side, incomplete, intended for Wellhoff. And we really haven't seen the ball gotten out to Doug Martins. I assume Doug's been well covered. He's had such a good year. I'm sure that center is making sure he's well covered on every play. But Doug with a catch early in the ball game. We really haven't seen much out of him since then, just because the ball hasn't gotten to him. Third down, Kelly on the drop. Looks to the left side, incomplete, intended for Litchfield. That one almost picked off.
Winner of tonight's game will play the winner of the Lincoln Academy and Central Lafayette game being played also tonight. Lincoln Academy 7-3 for the season. Central Lafayette 6-2.
Well, here comes another interesting development. Piper's over there tying his shoe to try and kick the field goal. I don't know if the Wildcats can get it off if they do try and kick it. It's going to be a 35-yard attempt. Piper gets it up. It's on the way, but it's off to the right. Roger had the foot, but it just didn't carry. So the football will go back over to the center Yellow Jackets with 5:16 left to play in the ball game. We'll be right back. Center has Weethorn carrying the football off the right side. He picks up yardage up to about the 25-yard line. Gain of about 5, and it'll bring up second down 5.
Some other Class 4A district play being played tonight. As we mentioned, Lincoln Academy playing at Central Lafayette. Dexter 9-1 at Festus 10-0. St. Louis Northwest 7-3 at Afton 7-3.
Give off the right side. A good hole. And a good gain for the Yellow Jackets. And a first down. Weethorn carrying the football once again.
Other Class 4A district playoff tonight: St. Charles West 7-3 playing at Union 9-1. Marshall 9-1 playing at Chillicothe, also 9-1. West Plains 5-5 playing at Camdenton 8-1. And rounding out play, Willard 8-2 playing at Webb City, who's 9-1.
From the 35, they give straight ahead for short yardage across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Weathern picks up about 3. It's going to bring up second down 7. But the clock continues to run. We're down inside 4 minutes left in the ball game.
Wildcats unable to score so far in the second half of play.
They give to the fullback. Allen with a big hole picks up the first down out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. And Center now moving the football.
Clock continues to run for the Yellow Jackets as it's down now to 3:34 remaining.
It's all in Center's favor right now. 3:28 left to play. Maybe 3:28 in the Wildcats season. Pitch comes back to Weathorn. The Wildcats stop him up. Jamie Davis in there as the Wildcats had everybody up on the line. Had good penetration on the play. Jamie Davis able to make the stop in the backfield.
Clock running now under 3 minutes left in the game. 19-10's our score. The Cats led at halftime by a score of 10-7.
2nd and 14. Center again from the wishbone. They give it straight ahead again to Weathorn. Williams carrying the football this time. He gets it out to the 45. It's going to bring up third down and about 11. Under 2.5 minutes left to play in the ball game.
And the Wildcats need a miracle. With 2:14 remaining. 19-10's the score. The Center Yellow Jackets in the lead.
The Cats come up. There's a lot of movement. Illegal procedure the call against Center. But that brings it down inside 2 minutes. Third down and about 16, and the Wildcats, I'm afraid, have run out of time and out of luck. If you have to look back right now, the play that might really have broken the Wildcats back was the punt. When Center was back in punt formation, bad snap, and Thompson, instead of losing yardage and the Wildcats taking over, ran it for a first down. That gain back out to the 45, where it'll bring up fourth down and about 11.
Clock now running, minute 27 remaining in the game.
But the Wildcats have given the Center Yellow Jackets all they could want in this ball game.
They certainly have. Fantastic first half of play. Just really have not been able to generate anything in this second half.
Center's a great football team, no doubt about that. They're going to sit back in the huddle and take the 5-yard penalty, let that clock run.
And it stops at 1 minute left in the game.
It'll put the football back to the 40-yard line. And Center will have it fourth down and 15. And now they're just going to sit back, see if they do punt the football. High short punt. Fair catch called for, made by Lampy at the 39. So the Wildcats have 53 seconds. That's going to give them some time to air it out, but know that the Yellow Jackets are going to be sitting back waiting for it.
Only a matter of time now. Harrisonville Wildcats coming into tonight's game with an overall record of 8-1.
First one incomplete.
And right there is, I think, Bob, has been the story of the night, especially in the second half of play. So many close ones. They've almost been there, but incomplete. Unable to make that yardage and complete those downs and to keep that momentum drive going that they had in that first half.
Again, Kelly on the drop. Pumps once, fires out there for Lampy. Incomplete.
44 seconds. The Yellow Jackets are almost on a victory. As we mentioned, the winner of tonight's game going on in state playoff action. They will play the winner of tonight's Lincoln Academy and Central Lafayette game. That game to be played here at Center next Monday night.
Bill Lampy apparently pulling a muscle. Heads to the sideline. Casper replaces him. Third down and 10, single back set. Kelly on the drop, under a lot of pressure, sets up the screen to Piper. Got a couple of blockers out in front of him. Roger across midfield, got the first down. Down to about the 46. And they will stop the clock to move the chains.
35 seconds. While we have a second, we would like to say a special thanks to all of our sponsors that's followed us throughout the year here on Cable Channel 2.
Kelly with a lot of good time, throwing down deep, triple coverage down there. It's incomplete. Pass was intended for Doug Martins.
And the next time you're in their place of business, we hope that you too will say a special thanks to all of our sponsors here on Cable Channel 2 throughout the year that's made all of these broadcasts possible.
25 seconds left in the ball game.
19-10. The Center Yellow Jackets.
Kelly under some pressure now, has to tuck it and go himself. Eludes one man, gets the first down and out of bounds. 17 seconds left on the clock. And I don't know, Jim, we've seen a lot of football teams this year, and I don't know, of course, about the eastern part of the state over around the St. Louis area. They have some good teams over there, but I don't know if there's any as good as the Center football squad. I know Coach Smith thinks that they're good enough to be state champions, and I do not dispute his word at this point in time.
You know, these players have been looking forward to it. As you mentioned, Coach Bob Smith felt that he has some talent here because back in the freshman year of these guys, he told them, he says, I see potential of a state championship your senior year. And that's what he is trying to build right here. And he's almost made the first leg a reality, just 17 seconds away from District 7 champs.
Incomplete. And Kelly took a rocket. He was hit right as he let the football go, and Kelly is down.
With 10 seconds left in the game.
Well, not to take anything away from the Wildcats. It's been a fantastic season for the Wildcats, Jim. We've watched them every step of the way.
Certainly has been.
Improved, matured all the way through the season, and I think this game right now is just a perfect example of that. This are the same two teams. I mean, the personnel is the same, but the Wildcats improved over the year so much that it's just been great. We'll take a break while they're tending to Kelly. Well, they helped Kelly off the field. That was a heck of a note to have to go out on your last ball game with a shot like that, but Kelly's had a fantastic career at Harrisonville. Jim Knox in to replace him for the final 10 seconds of the ball game. The Wildcats have 3 wide receivers out to the far side. And now a flag. Center lined up offsides.
So the Center Yellow Jackets will move their overall record to 10-1. They will play the winner of the Lincoln Academy and St. Joe Lafayette game being played tonight.
Knox fires it out incomplete. 8 seconds left on the clock. Kelly, the tough man that he is, back in there for the last play of the game. And a flag thrown. They're going to prolong it as long as possible.
No time going off on the scoreboard clock.
Yard walk-off gave the Cats a first down. Kelly's back in the shotgun. Lampy comes in motion. Snap comes back to Kelly. Fires it for the end zone for Lampy. Game. Kelly again back in the shotgun. Last play of the season for the Cats.
There it is.
Fires the middle, incomplete.
And that's it. The Center Yellow Jackets are Class 4A District 7 champs as they hand a defeat to the Harrisonville Wildcats by a score of 19-10.
Well, it's a tough way to have to end your season, but the Wildcats, I think, did themselves proud. You just can't, you know, I think, Jim, I really believe this is the best team in the state. The Center Yellow Jackets, I don't know who's going to beat them.
That's right. They've got just about everything, you know, you could ask for. They've got the speed, they've got the mobility, and they've got the coaching staff. So it looks like the Center Yellow Jackets are on their way as they